welcome back. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. So as you probably know, today's video is going to be, I guess, more of a first impressions and wear test of the brand new KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation. I was really excited to see this one came to Australia. I know that the Good Apple, the balm one that everyone was going crazy for on TikTok, has never made it to Australia. It still hasn't arrived, so I have not tried that one. I'm not always a super full coverage girl, but this one claims to be full coverage but natural. I was really excited to see this one land at Sephora. I have been breaking out so much lately. I've been on medication for acne since I was 11 years old, on and off, and I've just gone off another medication recently and all my acne is just coming back in full force along my chin. It's like this knew that I was breaking out because I need a lightweight, hopefully, full coverage foundation, which is what this claims to be. So I'm really hoping that this will work for me. It also claims to be sweat proof, transfer proof. The humidity in Australia right now, well, in Brisbane specifically, ridiculous. It's 34 degrees, but the humidity is just insane. I'm just constantly sweating. So I'm really hoping that this could be the answer to my foundation prayers. A little insight on this foundation: it does come in 40 shades, which is amazing. If you don't know already, I work at Sephora and I was setting up the gondola for these foundations earlier today, and the shade range is insane. It goes from really pale, you wouldn't think it, but it is so hard to find foundations and color match people who are on the really fair side, because a lot of foundations throw really yellow or really pink. Perfect neutral pale tone. So if you are really fair, these are going to be perfect for you. They also go to your really deep shades. What I love is that they're not super orange. A lot of brands go really orange in a lot of their deeper tones, and it's just not everyone is that orange. So it's really great to see some more neutral, darker, deep tones as well. So impressed by the shade range from KVD Beauty. Well, but you kept opening the door. I couldn't let you back in. Oh, the bottle is recyclable, non-comedogenic, which is amazing, flashback free. I feel like that should be a given these days. I feel like that's not really a benefit. Yeah, okay, so my shade is Light 012. Looking at the ingredients list, I think this is a silicone-based foundation. Water is obviously the first ingredient, which it is with most foundations, but following that is dimethicone, glycerin, trimethylsilicate, and dimethicone specifically is one of the most prominent silicone-based ingredients in your silicone-based foundation. So I'm going to make sure I'm using a silicone-based primer like the One Size Secure the Blur when we get to it. Otherwise, if you end up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below. Comment if you have tried this or are going to try this, because I'd be me just throwing things. I'd be really interested to see how you guys found this foundation. Otherwise, let's get into the video. So yeah, like I mentioned, I'm going to use the One Size Secure the Blur primer. This is one of my favorite more silicone-based primers. You can usually tell when a primer is silicone-based. They tend to be a little bit thicker, a bit denser. Your water-based primers are definitely like the Milk Hydro Grip. They're very thin, very serum-y. You know that they're a water-based one. I feel like it's quite an easy distinction, whereas with your foundations, it can often be a lot more difficult to tell without the ingredient list. I think I said it earlier, but my shade is Light 012. I do really like how they've broken up the amount of shades that are in the range. So you've got, I think it's light, medium, tan, and deep. So it kind of groups the shades that you could be, which kind of makes it a little bit easier to navigate, especially when there's so many shades. Thing that I do love about this, the bottle, again, I've said it before, I don't really usually care too much about packaging as long as it's functional, but the bottle on this, beautiful. The embossed glass is just really lovely. I color matched myself at work, so I'm really hoping this is the right shade for me. It does say to give the bottle a bit of a shake before you use it, so we'll do that first. Shaker. As usual with my foundation try on reviews, etc, I'm going to do half with the beauty blender and half with the brush to see how it applies. I have acne honestly evenly on both sides of my face at the moment, so I'm intrigued to see how it covers either way. So yeah, let's get to trying it on. I'm excited. So I've just got about a pump and a half on the back of my hand. I feel like this is going to be plenty to do a full face. So I'm going to start with the brush side, I guess. So I am taking my, it's a BH Cosmetics 123 foundation brush. I'm going to do the dramatic swipe. Have I picked the right color? I'm not sure. The one thing that makes it really hard to pick a color in this range, which I forgot to say earlier, is that it's not grouped by cool, like a cool olive warm undertone. It's all just like LO18, LO12, LO32, LO98 or whatever. Like it doesn't have what the undertone is, so you really just kind of have to like guess. It's quite frustrating actually. I'm gonna continue just like blending this out a little. You know what? It is full coverage. I'm actually shocked because it is so thin. Look at, this is definitely not quite my color, but we're gonna make it work anyway. It is very lightweight. I'm actually shocked that it doesn't really feel like I've got anything on the face, which is crazy. I think I'm kind of comparing the coverage right now to the Estee Lauder Double Wear, which if any of you have ever tried it, is like the fullest coverage thing you'll ever put on your face. And it's like impossible to get off. Like if you get it on your clothes or like on the floor or whatever, like it will be there forever. But it is quite a thick, and it's beautiful. I do really love that foundation. And it looks really beautiful on a lot of clients whose makeup I do. Like it's long wearing and it's beautiful, but like this is lightweight. Like I'm definitely gonna have to start using this on clients. Like if it wears well, it has made its way into my book so far. It's definitely giving kind of soft matte finish. I wouldn't say it's like super natural finish. Like I do think KVD leans more into the matte finish kind of foundations, but looking at that already, no foundation at all. Foundation, and that's only one honestly pretty thin layer. Like I've got quite a bit of product left on the back of my hand. I'm gonna move on to the sponge side. I'm gonna dab a little on my face to start with, and then I'm gonna go in with my normal Real Technique sponge. I have like a million of these in my drawer at the moment. Immediately definitely need just like a little bit more product when I'm using it with the sponge. I almost think it looks more of a natural finish when I use the sponge. Am I crazy, or is it oxidizing a little? Like I feel like this looks darker than it did when I first tried it on just before. If you can look past the shade, my skin looks so smooth. It was much quicker applying with the brush solely because you don't need to add as much product. I found, yeah, I think this part of my face where I do have a bit more acne, it was weird because it was like still full coverage, but I feel like it just needed a little bit of, just needs like a little second extra layer just to really cover all of that. But I'm very impressed. I can definitely tell more so that I'm wearing foundation now, but it's not like heavy or anything. I can see what they mean. Like it's very lightweight as a foundation. I feel like it's oxidized. I think it's very similar to the way that Fenty oxidizes, that once it dries down, you give it a couple of minutes and then it kind of dries half a shade to a shade darker. It's not a bad thing. That's just like how the formula of some foundations work. You just kind of have to roll with it and make sure you're picking the right shade. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to the rest of my face makeup just to see how well it plays with others. If you're not really interested in that, I'm not gonna take it personally. I'll put a little timestamp where you can jump forward to like how it looks at the end of the day. Otherwise, let's get onto my face makeup. For concealer, I'm just using the e.l.f. Creamy Camo Concealer. I've really been enjoying this lately. It just has this really beautiful pigment. I love that it has a really big doe foot. You can get quite a bit of product without having to work too hard for it, which I really enjoy. And I'm just gonna blend that out with my sponge. Was that like the most seamless blend ever? Wow. Okay, so far, it's working very well with others. These two right now, besties. These are working together. That blended so easy. For bronzer, I'm going in with the liquid bronzer. I'm using Caramel Chisel from Made by Mitchell. I love these things. I've actually not used this in a while, and so I'm like, now's the time. I feel like I don't have much product left in here now that I'm looking at it. Maybe that's why I haven't used it in a while. Okay, slay. I really had to work to blend that in today. For blush, I think I'm going to go a kind of more neutral tone. I usually go quite pinkies, but I feel like with this eye look, a more neutrally colored blush will suit better. So I'm using the Nude Sticks Bareback. As you can see, it's just a nice kind of mauvey pink color. I'm just using that on the back of my hand. And then picking it up with my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. My favorite brush to do this kind of blush with. And by this kind of blush, I mean cream blushes. Not pretty. It's just like nice and soft. Like if you're someone who doesn't really wear blush normally or is scared to start wearing blush because you think it might be too much, and obviously I know like a lot of the trends lately are, you know, very heavy in the blush, this is a really great option for you. Lastly, for highlight, I'm going to use, I should probably powder. I don't know if I want to powder though because it looks so good. Like, I don't know, I'm torn. Okay, I'll do highlighter and then we'll think about it. I'm using the Rare Beauty highlighter in the shade Enlighten. This is one of the new ones. They are so beautiful. Like, look at that. I don't really think this foundation needs a lot of powder, but I'm going to just put the lightest amount. I'm going to use the Kylie Soft Pink powder. It's very similar to the shade Cupcake by Huda Beauty if you've ever used that one. I'm going to just put a little bit under my eyes and around my T-zone area because I do get very oily. It's very muggy outside. It's freaking awful. I feel like powder doesn't even really do anything because this foundation has already made my skin look so beautiful and so smooth. That is the face makeup all completed. I'm just gonna go do my lip combo really quickly and I'll be right back. So this is my makeup all completed. I am really loving it so far. I will say I definitely think it makes my pores, like the combination of this primer and this foundation together, like my pores look really small, my face looks really smooth. It's definitely not a foundation that you could wear on its own. Like if you're someone who just wants to put a little something on, I feel like this foundation you definitely need to have a bit of concealer or a bit of bronzer or blush because it's really going to give you a blank canvas face wise, and on its own it's going to look a little bit unnatural. Makeup wise, like I feel like I look snatched today, like having a full coverage foundation that isn't heavy. First of all, love, feels great, but makes me look just like, as a makeup look, it just looks a little bit more put together, which I'm really enjoying. But yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how it will wear into my skin. I am pretty much staying at home tonight, so I'm just gonna wear it, see how it looks, but I am not going to sit in aircon or anything, so I'm just going to let the humidity do its thing, let it take me. I'll check back in with you guys in a few hours to see how it's going and give you my final impressions. So yeah, see you soon. Okay, so it's now been about 6 or so hours since I first put this on. I am so tired, so I'm going to go to bed soon. This is how we're looking so far. It's definitely a lot more glowy than it was when I originally put it on. It looked a bit more matte at the beginning. I think it's definitely, how do I explain this? It's glowy in a good way. Like I feel like it has meshed really well with the oils on my face. Sometimes what happens with some matte foundations is that it splits with the oils on my face. So I'm really impressed by this glow. Like the coverage is fully still there. It's just kind of giving glow from within energy. It is very hot in this room that I'm currently in, so it has been withholding a bit of sweat. I will say, I don't know, like as I was editing kind of the first part of the footage, the color actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it did. I actually, like now that I'm looking at it, I don't really know what I don't know, I think I was just confronted by how full coverage the first swatch was, but it actually, I think the color is actually pretty good for me. I was just being so dramatic. The longer I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, I can make that work. Like it's really not that bad. Overall, it is wearing really well. The coverage is great. Like I feel like my makeup still looks really nice. I am gonna powder a little bit just to show you how well it tops up. Again, because I didn't set with much powder earlier, so I feel like touching up with a bit of powder will really help the longevity. Already. Okay, so I've powdered this half of my face and I feel like it's looking just like it did when I first put it on. Again, there's the dewy side. One of the critiques I will say is that it is lightweight when you put it on. I feel like the longer you go throughout the day, the heavier it feels. I know that's how it kind of goes with a lot of foundations, but that's specifically what I'm feeling with this one. It's feeling a lot heavier on my skin. But I guess that's kind of the price you pay for the great coverage and the long wear and everything. I think if you're a big fan of the Fenty Pro Filter or again the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I think you'll really, really love this foundation as more of a lightweight version of both of those. Overall, KVD has impressed me today. It's actually my first foundation that I've ever tried from that brand. So this has been a really exciting find. Genuinely, I'm like, is this a new regular foundation for me? If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It's very much appreciated. And comment below if there is anything else you want me to review or any makeup videos you want me to do. I am always open to suggestions. Otherwise, I am ready for bed. I need to take my makeup off and go to sleep ASAP. So I will see you guys in the next video. And yeah, love you. Bye.